First Mythic Banner of 2022 is upon us. Today we'll be going over the 12 units on the banner and discuss what fun skills are available. As a reminder, the 5th anniversary of For Fire Emblem Heroes is on February 2nd, and generally we get a Hero Fest banner with the possibly other fun things to summon on, including the Valentine's banner. We should find out all the details before this Mythic Banner is over, so I would wait to see what is coming if you're on the fence. Another reminder, Fate Pass holders can now spark on these Mythic banners, and that includes any of the 12 heroes. First, we have to talk about our new Mythic hero, Elimine. She is one of the 8 legends from Binding and Blazing Blade. Now, there are some very strange details about this character I thought were hilarious. Apparently, the only art of Elimine before this was from a promotion with Mario Kart Double Dash of all things. There was a special promotional disc that came with Double Dash that gave you items in Fire Emblem the Blazing Blade. Elimine was the character used to basically give you the items. If you're wondering why people were talking about Mario Kart, that is why. Another fun fact, her English VA is Amelie, who's been a long-time YouTuber who's done a lot of anime and video game song covers, including some stuff from Fire Emblem. Third fun fact, which I didn't know about, the artist is credited as Alan Smithy, who is not a person but a pseudonym for when movie directors do not want to be associated with the project anymore. It seems to have a pretty negative connotation, and I'm not sure if it's being used in the same way here. There's a lot of odd out-of-game incidents just for this character. Now, in-game, Mythic Elimine will be a flying healer and an Ashera Mythic that boosts speed. Like Altina, she just seems to float through sheer will, so don't forget about that. We do see Elimine's stats in the trailer, and assuming nothing changes, she has 36 HP, 34 attack, 40 speed, 16 defense, and 41 resistance. Decent offensive stats, but Elimine is very much a support unit. Her high base res will be one of her most important stats. For all the skills, Elimine comes with Nudge Plus, which is the healing skill with Shelf built in. She has Attack and Miss Push 4 for stats, and then Attack and Speed Far Trace 3. Again, she is a flyer. Now, with Kanto, Elimine can use Nudge to shove someone, then reposition. That may be helpful since she does want her allies to crowd around her. Elimine's weapon is the Staff with the Saint. She may be a healer, but Elimine's attack animation is similar to Guinevere's Aureola, and that's because Aureola is Elimine's tome. As for the Staff of the Saint, this is a 14-byte staff with built-in Dazzling Staff. At the start of the turn, Elimine grants plus 6 defense res to allies within 2 spaces, and inflicts the false start status on foes in cardinal directions with less res than Elimine. Before we read the last part, we have to talk about False Start. This is a brand new status effect and quite a powerful one. Basically, False Start prevents enemies from activating any skills that trigger at the start of the turn. Now, generally that's going to be your basic field buff skills like Hone Attack, Oats, or Rouses. However, a crap ton of powerful abilities trigger at start of turn, including debuffs like Menace skills. Then there's things like Times Pulse, Quicken Pulse, Shield Pulse, or Hardy Fighter. This even includes movement buffs like on Legendary Sigurd, Brave Alm, or Yuri. That is pretty wild. As an off-season Mythic, Elimine can completely mess with units like Quicken Pulse Legendary Sigurd if you do see him. Quicken Pulse only works on turn 1, so if you false start Sigurd, that's it. She can also false start Harmonic Catria, which would prevent her from giving out her Order's movement buffs and the Triangle Attack status. False Start appears to be extremely powerful, but Saint of the Staff only applies in a line, and you must want to res check like a ploy debuff. There are some exceptions, including beast transformations and the refreshing of dual or harmonic skills. False Start can also be countered by even or odd recovery, which cleanses it first. I believe this will also apply to Sarah's Kia staff, but you're gonna need to test that one. Now, regarding flying beast transformations, I'm guessing the transformation is gonna go through, but those units will not get the +1 movement buff. We'll need to test that as well. Back to the last part of the staff, it actually states that in summoner duels only, False Start is nerfed. It will only neutralize healing and damage dealing effects instead of everything else. A bit strange, but essentially, you won't be able to stop Yuri's +1 movement buff in that mode. Okay, so overall, this weapon gives a simple plus 60 defense and res field buff and inflicts the new False Start status in a ploy debuff manner. To pair with her staff, Elimine has Holy Ground as her unique C skill. I say unique, but we've seen this effect before. Reduces damage from foes' attacks during combat to allies within 2 spaces by 30% and grants +4 defense and res during combat. Flying Healer with 30% AoE damage reduction. Boy, that sounds like Flame. If you like stacking damage reduction, then here's another unit to do it with, and she's an Ashera Mythic. Altogether, with her staff's buffs, Elimine can hand out 30% damage reduction and plus 10 defense and res, so it's a lot of defensive support. More reasons to have those damage reduction nullification tools on hand. Overall, Mythic Elimine brings some familiar old support tactics with a brand new status effect. False Start can definitely mess up certain units, but it only works in a line. Maybe someone will bring multiple copies since damage reduction can stack as well. In regards to countering False Start, even and Odd Recovery continue to rise in value. Those two healer skills and Sarah offer a lot of countermeasures. For the most part, Mythic Elimine is not a fighter despite a pretty solid 40 base speed. She does not have Wrathful Staff, but you could give it to her if you want. She is trying to use Fartrace Kanto with her Shove healing skill. Now, something interesting is that, like Flame, Elimine's damage reduction is susceptible to the newish Colorless Feud C skill. If you see Harmonic Lysithea on the defense team, you may want to be careful. Let me know your thoughts on our first and only legendary / mythic healer. Maybe we'll get that Mario Kart Double Dash collab for real someday. Alright, let's now move on to the 11 other heroes on this banner. In the red group is legendary Seliph, Volke, and Constance. Next in blue is Peony, legendary Julia, and Hapi. Green has Eitri, Odor, and Ascended Fjorm. Last joining Elimine in Colorless is Ashera and legendary Claude. If you didn't see the CYL 6 midway results, Seliph was number 2 behind Chrom. Can Seliph retain that CYL spot? We'll find out soon enough. For now though, we have the legendary version, and he's a slower sword cav. This Seliph is an enemy phase unit. His Virtuous Turfing debuffs attack and defense and heals Seliph on hit, while Holy Word's End gives Seliph a quicker pulse effect, and he can use his follow-up attack immediately. It's like an enemy phase version of Desperation. With Distant Counter, Seliph can fight ranged foes, and he has Joint Hone Defense for some buffs. Definitely not as impactful as his father, but if he wins CYL, maybe a Brave Seliph can change things around. Next up is Volke, a very scary red dagger unit. The Fireman's Hook specials gives +1 special charge on his attacks and provides no guard. All of this is so Volke can proc Lethality, which is the dagger only special that negates damage reduction skills. Lethality reduces defense by 75% and it has a high 4 cooldown cost. It's only available on Volke for now, and that may be the case for quite a while. Despite being tailor-made to assassinate targets with lethality, Volke provides insane fodder value. You can grab lethality with sturdy impact, no follow-up, or times pulse. For infantry units, I would suggest times pulse to try and get lethality going faster. All in all, Volke is basically the dagger version of Shinon. He has the class-specific special, and with top-tier fodder to go with it, he's also a very capable unit himself. Third unit is going to be Constance. She's an offensive flying mage, and her Agni's arrow grants more attack and speed, and it neutralizes a fall prevention. Constance then gets different effects depending on the turn. On odd turns, she's going to neutralize speed and res field buffs on the foe. On even turns, she neutralizes attack and speed penalties on herself. To go with her offensive weapon, she comes with attack and speed push 4, attack and speed Fartrace, and speed and res rain 3. Constance is fully kitted out to dish out damage. She then has Harsh Command Plus if you need to get rid of some status effects. The red group has some insane fodder from any of these units, definitely not bad to get some extra copies. For the blue group, we have Mythic Peony, which everyone can get for free. Peony is our light mythic dancer who offers incredible support with some buffs and team warping. If you want some extra copies for skills, then she has blue dual flying 3, aerobatics, and fortify res 4. Maybe not the most wanted skills for everyone, but still useful to have. Next up is legendary Julia, who's a blue infantry mage. This Julia has a ton of attack and res and only stacks more. Virtuous Naga is effective against dragons and gives +6 attack and res if Julia has more attack than the enemy. And her light and dark B skill is an Omni Lull that also disables adaptive damage. For more attack and res, Julia has Mirror Impact plus attack and res O3. You can get attack and res Oath from Peleus now if you want some self buffing, but it's also fun to take along with Mirror Impact. Julia may be pretty simple, but you still don't want to let a low res unit or a dragon tank your attacks. Last up is Hapi, who's a blue mage cavalier. Hapi also has high attack and res, but comes with some very powerful tools for a mage cavalier. Her demonic tome is effective against dragons and beast foes. Specials gives Hapi times pulse, and it adds extra attack and res for good measure. This means Hapi can pre-charge Glimmer, or if you really hate Beast and Dragon units, she can pre-charge Ruptured Sky. For her passives, Hapi's gonna have Attack and Res Catch 4 and Attack and Res Far Trace. Both of those are excellent, especially for deleting foes with her charge special. Personally, I think Hapi is a pretty good unit. Special cooldown is always in demand for Cavaliers, and Hapi abuses it with the long range of the Mage Cav. Blue may not be the best group here, but it's definitely not bad. Moving on to the green group, we have legendary Eitri. The body swapping sage is somehow not a mythic, while Oder is literally just some guy. Now, Eitri is a flying green mage with high attack and somewhat high defense and res for a mage. Her Grim Broker Tome gives Kanto 2 for the first 4 turns and inflicts attack and res debuffs on the foe while giving Eitri a follow-up attack. Eitri gets even tankier with Divine Recreation, which inflicts -4 to all stats and gives her an Ice Mirror effect. Eitri's going to get 30% damage reduction for 1 attack, and then she's going to empower her counterattack with the damage reduced. To get more debuffs, she has Attack and Res Range 3, and Eitri wants to be alone with Attack and Res Solo 4. She may be a little girl, but Eitri is one tough sage. Next up is Mythic Oder. He's an Axe Cavalier with low speed and high attack, defense, and res. Oder's weapon gives him Kanto 3 for 4 turns like Reagan, plus it gives him attack buffs and a follow-up attack. It also inflicts attack debuffs on the foes, so essentially it's pretty much the same weapon as Eitri's. Oder has a unique special called Brutal Shell. It is basically just Luna, but it pre-charges itself on turn 1, so Oder can hit quite hard immediately. To power his offense, he has Flow Refresh and Attack and Defense Menace. Both are solid skills for inheriting. Oder is then going to have Green Dual Cavalry 4 if you care about arena scoring. Our last green spot goes to Ascended Fjorm. This Fjorm is an Axe Arm unit with high speed. Nifl's Bite gives her accelerated specials, Distant Counter, LC Disrupt, and 7 HP after combat. This lets Fjorm use Ice Mirror better, and she has Attack and Res Far safe to truly be the anti-range tank she wants to be. To make Ice Mirror better, Fjorm has Hardy Fighter. Hardy Fighter is Shield Pulse on steroids by triggering the damage reduction special twice. Plus, it's going to give defensive no follow-up, which is always good. If you haven't seen it, Hardy Fighter's savior builds are extremely annoying because they are literally full tank builds. Units like Brave Hector get to abuse damage reduction, and they can keep protecting the team with their safe C skills. Ascended Fjorm is the only Hardy Fighter holder at the moment, so I wouldn't be surprised if people spark for her here. She has 2 other great skills in Steady Posture 3 and Far Safe, but Hardy Fighter is very unique, and it could be pretty rare if the devs don't want to hand it out more. Even if you don't care about the units themselves, the green group has some extremely good skills. A lot of these are also newer skills like Hardy Fighter or Flow Refresh. Last up we have the Colorless group, and we already talked about Mythic Elimine. She does come with 3 inheritable skills including Nudge Plus, Attack and Res Push 4, and Attack and Speed Far Trace. I would say Far Trace and Nudge are a bit more valuable to hold on to if you're going to go for some skill inheritance. Joining Elimine is Mythic Ashera, who is another Ashera Mythic and a colorless infantry mage. Ashera hands out attack and res buffs with no panic, but using her Order's Restraint C skill. This is important for her weapon because Ashera can use field buffs on her allies to gain extra attack. This is like a Blade Tome effect, but using ally field buffs instead, and it's the same mechanic Nammy's bow had. Ashera is also going to give herself +5 to all stats, and she has a good amount of speed and res to fight other mages. She can boost her attack and res further with attack and res ideal 4, and low speed and res is great for dishing out more damage. For following purposes, if you are not using Reeve with his neat weapon, he does have attack and res ideal 3. You can use him to get the tier 4 version and low speed and res all in one go. Last up is legendary Claude. 3 Houses Upside Down Specialist is a powerful flying colorless archer and is a fierce initiator. Fail Not Accelerate Specials gives +5 to all stats, and he's going to give no follow-up 3. With Fallen Star, Claude then gets a massive 80% damage reduction when initiating for 1 hit, and he's going to inflict AoE gravity around his target. He's also going to get a status effect giving him 80% damage reduction for the enemy phase, so letting Claude initiate first is a really bad idea. To empower his assault, Claude's going to come with attack and speed catch 4 and speed and defense rain, which is about as good as it gets for an offensive unit. If you manage to get Near's Lyre, then she has attack and speed catch 3, and if you can get the tier 4 version with speed and defense rain all in one go, then that is some excellent value. If you want Elimine, definitely not a bad group to go alongside with her. If you need Ashera Mythic heroes, also not a bad time to summon. That'll be it for this month's Mythic Banner. Again, I want to stress that the anniversary is coming up, so I would advise waiting to see what it brings first before summoning. I personally would love to try and summon since I missed out on Ashera before, but I'm thinking about saving for the potential Hero Fest coming up instead. Good luck if you are trying to summon on this banner. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.